Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for an apartment renovation. Yes, I am renovating an apartment. This is not a full build. I'm very excited about it because I have not done an apartment in, I want to say, maybe nearing 2 months. It's definitely been a while, so I was so excited to jump into Myshuno and work on this apartment using some platforms and some fun things. Now, I did only make this a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and I'll tell you a little bit as to why that is and the family, I guess the couple that lives here. And I was also inspired heavily by this image that I found on Pinterest. So typically I only look for inspiration for the exterior builds. I'm looking for different architecture styles and how to kind of translate those over to The Sims. However, I happened to find an interior shot that was recommended to me, and it was this illustration. I'm going to put it on screen now. I was shooketh to my core because I pretty much was convinced that this was an illustration of this apartment in The Sims 4. Like, I swear, because it looked just like it. I could just imagine it. It came together so easily, at least with the layout. And I think that's what prevents me from getting into apartments a lot of the times, is just trying to figure out different floor plans. I feel totally comfortable coming up with maybe different decorating styles, different interior design, but trying to figure out different floor plans in units that you're in all the time is really hard. And so when I saw this, I could not wait to get into game and see what I could do with it. So you can tell that we've already done the floor plan. I basically wanted to keep the living room at the original height. I didn't want to raise it or sink it down into the apartment, which I actually... Can you sink things farther than the original height in apartments? I don't think you can. So anyway, I didn't want to raise the living room. I've done that before. I think I did that most recently with my Plant Mom apartment. It was something like that when we got the Blooming Rooms kit. Anyway, so I raised that in the other apartment, but this one I wanted to keep it at the same level, and I wanted the kitchen behind it to be raised. So what I had to do is I had to play around with kind of the front entryway as well. I had to keep that at ground level because otherwise your Sims can't get through the door. And then I had to raise up the kitchen area and kind of like that little entry area, as well as the rest of the apartment to keep it all level. Now, this is already giving me a headache because I have zero idea how I'm going to upload this to the gallery. I have no clue. I suppose what I could do, though things will be missing, especially stairs, is I could just upload it all as one room, and I could just kind of put in the description what level the platforms you kind of have to change around. It's 2 clicks. It's 2 arrows up. That's what I did. I raised it twice. I don't know if that'll work. It makes it really difficult. I really hope that in the future we do get a better way to upload apartments to the gallery, especially with the platforming tool, because losing out on how someone envisioned a certain build, like let's say I didn't make a video on it, right? And I just had to write it in the description. It would be really, really difficult to try to discern what needed to be platformed and what didn't. So I don't know, it makes me sad. I hope that we have a way to do that in the future. But you can see that the living room and the little dining area came together pretty quickly. And then off camera, what I ended up doing is I did end up changing the color scheme. And now that painting that I put behind the dining table is basically what sparked it. I wanted to use the sectionals from Dream Home Decorator. Wasn't really the style I was going for, that kind of contemporary modern style, but I went with it and it came out really nicely, I think. But yeah, that painting behind the dining room table, it had a lot of kind of like deeper pinks, some orange, some yellow, some red. And I was trying to kind of match that because I really love that painting and I don't use it very often. So I thought that using the yellow would complement it really nicely and it would really lighten up the apartment. It was looking almost a little bit too dark, but not in the ways that I like it. I like the deep, deep dark woods, kind of like the coffee table that I selected here. But the brick was a little bit too light for me, and I feel like it muted things out. So we end up just changing that around a lot. You're gonna see my first and then second attempt at the kitchen as well. I was still using this herringbone flooring, and I was trying to get something down for the kitchen and I just could not do it. And I think it was because I was struggling with the counters. I couldn't find something that brought in the very, very light wood tones of the feet of the couch. Yes, I look at that much detail. The feet of the couch were a very, very pale light wood. I had the white TV stand, and then I had the really dark wood for the coffee table, and then the flooring was kind of like, I don't really know if you'd consider this kind of like a rusty wood color, the herringbone flooring that I ended up choosing, but it was really hard to match all of these different wood tones in my head, so I needed to find a way to do it. My first attempt here was trying to use a very, very dark wood tone for the cabinets and the counters, but I think that the white countertops actually ruined it for me. It made it so hard. It was almost too light. It didn't bring enough balance, so then I tried to use this more neutral wood. It ended up blending with the wallpaper that I had chosen already. Tried to bring some of the brick in. It wasn't balanced in my head, and I'm trying to articulate how much of a struggle it was. It was honestly so difficult. So I was trying and I ended up really disliking what I had. So I stepped away for a few hours. I came back, and then I ended up going for kind of like the second attempt of the kitchen. I was also trying to make this little area here almost like just a huge thing of floating shelves to kind of decorate as a divider from the entryway to the rest of the apartment, but it almost looked too open. It was kind of merging in with that bookcase I wanted to put there, and it wasn't working. So here is the second attempt at the kitchen, and I was actually really grateful for it because I ended up using these cool kitchen countertops and cabinets. I don't use them a lot, mainly because of the cabinets. The overhead cabinets, there's no swatches that are basically closed aside from that really long, tall cabinet piece at the end that I ended up using there. There's none. They're all pretty much open, and I kind of don't want that many. I want a little bit more of a variation. Some of them to be closed off and not transparent or see-through with the glass, and some of them to be visible. So I usually don't use them, but I thought that the wood tones and everything allowed me to balance things out. Same with those base game stools. And I even used some of the Dream Home Decorator separated stove and oven pieces because I haven't used those in a long time either. But I ended up using a half wall to separate that entryway from that bookcase and kind of the rest of the apartment because I did want it to be pretty open, but that just felt way too busy. And over here where I put that little shelving unit, I ended up getting rid of it and I put a closet. So the entryway is very, very small. Again, it is that little sunken area. So they walk through, you could like hang up your coat, take off your shoes, and then you step right up into the kitchen. Then you step right down into the living room and the dining space. I thought it was such a cool layout. I was so happy with how it came out. I'm also realizing that I put those floating shelves above the closet and I intended to clutter that up. I'm not going to say I forgot. Okay, no, I forgot. I did. I totally forgot to do it. But now I kind of like it just as a little bit of, I don't know, gives maybe the closet a little bit of character. You guys can do whatever you want if you end up downloading it. However I end up uploading it, it's such a mess. But anyway, okay, so we are now cluttering up the kitchen, and I didn't want it to be too cluttered only because I thought it might be a little bit overwhelming. I felt like there was a decent amount going on in this apartment, but I really didn't overclutter things, which I think gave it a lot more balance considering how open it was. I feel like when things are this open, they kind of have to be somewhat decluttered. Otherwise, it could be overwhelming, unless, of course, that's your intent and that's what you wish to do. But I wanted to pull things back just a little tiny bit here. And I also spent the time to clutter up this bookshelf because there are some open spaces. Up on the top, there is an entire open shelf. So I cluttered it up with some books and a few different figurines. And I'll explain this too. So the couple that I was envisioning living here, I think that the husband, because I was picturing a husband and a wife, I think the husband is a huge Star Wars nerd, so you're going to see a few Star Wars figurines throughout the entire apartment, which I thought was kind of a nice way to use that pack, the pack that we do not name, but I thought it was a nice use of it. So he's a huge Star Wars nerd, and he is actually a history teacher. That was kind of my thought. I didn't want to go, it felt very stereotypical to kind of make him a computer programmer or something like that. I just wanted to kind of think about his personality a little bit more. I just think that the reason why he likes Star Wars so much is because he likes the sci-fi element, but he also just really loves how rich the history and the entire world is and how much it's fleshed out. I think he appreciates that a lot. And over here is actually a little tiny hallway that gives you entry to the bathroom and the bedroom. Then there's another archway, and that is his little office nook. I thought it was a nice use of the space considering I didn't make it a 2-bedroom. So he has his own little like gaming office space. Again, not super cluttered, but he's got like a few posters in there and a few pieces of Star Wars memorabilia, which I thought was sweet. And the reason why this apartment looks so, I'm going to go with put together, and why it seems so organized with his pieces being strategically scattered about is that his wife is an interior designer. So she ended up really designing and furnishing the entire apartment, but she wanted to ensure that his personality and his interests were also reflected in their home. So she decided to take a bunch of his Star Wars figurines and find them really nice homes throughout the entire unit. I thought it was kind of a cute idea. You guys can definitely tell me what you think. But now we are working on the little office nook for him, and he does have a extra monitor, which of course is a TV because we don't have monitors as separate items in The Sims. But I gave him this computer, which I've never pulled out before. It looks more like a gaming PC. I want to say it's a career unlock with like the spy or the secret agent career field or something, but I thought it looked like a gaming PC, and I was able to put it at that angle because I put it on another desk, shrunk that desk down, and then covered it with that little poof. I did playtest it, and my sim was able to sit at the desk chair and use the computer, which I thought was fantastic, and we were pretty much almost done decorating his little nook. I didn't want it to be again overly cluttered. Oh, and I almost forgot. How could I forget? Okay, so in that reference image, I'm pretty sure it showed that this couple had a cat, like in the illustration. But I was talking with my friend Amy, and she was like, why do I feel like they'd have a Frenchie? And I immediately was just like, oh my God, they have a Frenchie. Yes, they do. They have a Frenchie. So I went and put the pet bed, and then I went over back to the kitchen and I put some food bowls. So I'm thinking that they do have a little French bulldog. I thought it was going to be really cute. Now I know that having dogs in apartments is a little bit more challenging because they do have to go outside to use the bathroom and to go for walks and stuff. It's an extra step, whereas having a cat in an apartment in The Sims would be a little bit more straightforward. But I thought it was a really cute idea, and I really, really liked it. Since they are young and they're really just starting out, they haven't really given too much thought to having children yet, but they do have their little fur baby. And then that is the bathroom. I did not spend a lot of time there. It was very, very quick. And then this is going to be the bedroom. They have this nice double bed, and then they also have another closet area. They also have a TV on top of their dresser, so they can like sit there and watch TV before bed, which I hope at some point Sims can cuddle and watch TV before bed. I hope they can cuddle on the bed at all, and I hope that they can read while relaxing on the bed. All these things I'm really, really hoping for in the future, but I will leave you guys here. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I can't wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
If I wrote you a song, if I got every word perfectly weighted on a thin piece of paper, would it make any difference? Would it change for the better? If I wrote you a poem, if I posted a letter? Is it me?